What's up, you guys? It's been a good hot minute since I've last talked to you guys. Hold on, let me get my phone. Fuck. Okay, sorry. Here we are. How long has it been since I last uploaded? I think the last one was with Mike and Teddy, I think. Has it really been that long? What the fuck? I'm sorry, guys. I always have hard time finding time to record. I say this a bunch of times, but it's like, I don't know. Saying it over and over kind of keeps the facts still there, let them still be known. I don't know. Recently I just got off of watching Nintendo's thing. I'm still kind of watching. It's on my TV right now. They're talking about Rabbids and Mario. It's not really interested in that. I mean, the game looks like the only reference I have to the game, like the format of it, is Pokémon Conquest. And I like that game fine. But, what the fuck? But, I don't know. It doesn't really look like I'd get it. And, like, it's a Switch game, so it's probably going to be like $60, and it doesn't look like a $60 game. It's kind of like that 1-2 Switch thing where it's like, I mean, it's obvious it's for kids. But, I don't know. They announced some other things. I mean, in my opinion, this was a pretty weak E3, honestly. Like, they announced some alright stuff, but I don't know, man. What the fuck? Afterwards they announced this Metroid game for the 3DS, which I hopped on Etika World Network stream, after Nintendo's thing went off, and sometime during that Treehouse event, they announced this Metroid game for the 3DS, and they didn't even announce it during the actual announcement. They announced all these other Switch things, which, I mean, there was a lot of good ones. But nothing that was like groundbreaking. I think, pretty alright stuff. But like this Metroid game, not that I'm a big Metroid fan, but I thought like it looked pretty cool, and I don't know why they didn't talk about it a bit more. I feel like, first of all, that 25-minute thing for the Direct, it's kind of bullshit. It should have been longer. They could have had time to talk about that Metroid game and any other 3DS games that so far they haven't announced yet, but by the time I upload this, probably you'll already know everything. I don't know, I'm just kind of new into everything. I'm like looking back at my TV, I apologize. But anyway, let's think here. Let's do Teeth Talk. Teeth Talk. So it's been a while since I've talked about the updates with the braces and everything. This morning, I had this thought, because like I've said before, like I get canker sores a lot. Not as much recently. I use this stuff called Peroxyl, but it's like a mouthwash. I haven't gotten a canker sore in a while, at least not ever since the last trip I was on out of the country, which I'll talk about later. But with like having braces on, it's a lot more difficult without the Peroxyl, of course, to not get as many canker sores, because it's like my mouth was very sensitive to a lot of things. For example, braces being kind of sharp and rubbing up against the inside of my mouth very badly. And like this morning, I was gonna say, like, whenever the braces that I have, the brackets, they're like these doors that swing open, and sometimes some of these brackets don't. They're kind of loose. So what they do is they put these metal bands around them. And the last time I went in, they put them across a lot over my bottom teeth, and I was like, I don't know, I was feeling around this morning, and I was like thinking, they're not as sharp when they put these metal bands around. It's like, I know they should only put them on when the brackets aren't secure enough. They're kind of weak. They just, they don't want to replace the bracket, because like gluing them on the teeth is like hard enough. They just have these little bands, but if it helps them not scratch up against the inside of your mouth, though. Still, like it helps the brackets not become as sharp. I don't know. That's just my own little thing I wanted to mention quickly. I don't know if anyone out there knows what I'm talking about when they had braces. I think Mike was telling me once they put some rubber things on, which is not what I'm talking about. I think they're metal bands. They're like these little. They're silver. I think they're metal. Let me feel. They feel kind of metal-y-ish. I don't know. but they wrap pretty tight around the bracket, and then that's it. They smooth it out a bit. It's not completely unsharpened, I guess, but it's a lot better. I don't know. Just trying to think of stuff to think about what happened recently. I know there's a lot to talk about with the teeth talk thing, but honestly, God, it's like out of date, a lot of it. So I'm just trying to think of like recent stuff. Recently, I've had this tooth on my bottom jaw, that finally, like, the teeth around it separated enough so then they could put a bracket on that. For some time now, I've had this like spring thing on the wire in front of it, and now it's finally gone. I remember that giving me a lot of canker sores, because think of it, it's this tiny little spring inside your mouth, and it's always rubbing up against, more so than the brackets and the wires, weirdly enough. But now that's gone. Now there's finally a bracket there to finally move this one tooth forward. For those that like would look at my teeth before braces, like if you notice on my top jaw, for example, I had this one tooth that like kind of casted a bit of a shadow, and now it's like that one's brought more forward, and on this kind of aligned with it pretty much on the bottom jaw is the same kind of problem where it was a bit shadowed, a bit like pushed back behind some other teeth, and now that's finally going to be brought forward, so that's pretty exciting. Yeah, honestly, if I had more time to film, I would have updated earlier. I honestly, God, I can't remember anything else with everything with the braces that's happened months ago that I haven't touched up on, so I apologize. But let me talk about this one trip I went on. Recently, I went out of the country for the first time to Israel, where my dad is from, and for many years since I was young, he would always talk about Israel, pretty much like the promised land, you know. I don't know, but it's his home, of course. He would talk about it like putting it on a pedestal, really. I don't know. I think he's a bit naive to the fact that, like, I think he might have overhyped it. I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but like, I think because of some circumstances it made the trip terrible, not that the country itself was. I think where we were, it was definitely bad. We were in this place called Tel Aviv, Yaffo or Jaffa. I forget the fuck what it was. It's like the west side of Israel. And I live an hour north from Miami, so I don't visit Miami too often. But Tel Aviv is a lot like Miami, where a lot of the buildings, they're just big old square-shaped, rectangle-shaped, boring-ass looking buildings, white, gray-colored. They don't do a good job with the paint job. I mean, a lot of the buildings there look the same. Maybe it's just because of where we were in Tel Aviv, but there was a lot of buildings that just looked the same. Like, it had a bit of that New York City feel, like, because we were in it's like, kind of like a city. Not all parts of it, but most parts of where we were. Yeah, it looked like it. It looked pretty alright. The people there, a lot like South Florida, they fucking suck. They are the rudest people I've ever met. Like, you would look at them, and it's like, you smile, you know, and you expect to smile back, but they just look at you, like, I don't know, like you've done something to them. It's like you've never met them. I don't know. And sometimes when we were walking, like, these younger kids, like, in their 20s or teen years, you know, they would, like, first of all, they were checking out my sister, which I didn't really appreciate. And B, there was one time we were walking by like this donut shop or bread shop, and these three guys looked at my dad and like called out to him, saying something in Hebrew, and like my dad was like going back and forth with these guys, and my family had no idea what was going on. And then when we finally walked away, we like asked my dad, "Hey, what are those guys saying?" It was like some fucking thing like they were making fun of like the fact he looked, which I don't agree with. I don't know where they got it from, but like that my dad looked like a garbage man, or I don't know. He was dressed normally. First of all, it was like something that you would see on the playground in kindergarten. Like, hey, you look weird, and that's it. It was like the most childish kind of comeback. And, like, my dad was just putting them in place, yet, from what I remember, these guys just, like, laughed it off, like, I think there was one guy trying to, like, it looked like he was speaking in Hebrew, but it looked like he was like trying to tell his friend like, "Yo, dude, just stop. You're embarrassing yourself." I don't know. It looked like it. I think that's what my dad even said. What the third friend was doing. There was like 3 guys. I don't know, man. It was fucking stupid. The people there are terrible. But there was a wedding held on the 3rd day we were there, which the people there are nice. It wasn't entirely family. Like my cousin was getting married, but it was more of like her friends, her fiance's friends and family. We were the family pretty much. My uncle and my other cousin, her sister, her brother, sorry, and us was pretty much it. I think I'm pretty sure, and some old friends of my dad we saw there, which they are very nice too. There was this one woman who was like the nicest woman who we talked to most of the time. It's hard to like. There's a lot of people in Israel that do speak English, but like, I don't know. It kind of does depend like how well they speak English and like know about just the English, some slang in English, just so it's a bit more familiar. And like there was just this one woman that was an old friend of my dad's that married some dude from the UK, so she knows English pretty well. She even visited America and UK quite often, so she was cool to talk to. The day after the wedding, which by the way I talk more about the Israel trip on Duckcast with Mike, so if you want to give it a listen, go ahead. I do go on a lot about it. Hopefully I don't go on too much with this episode, but we'll see. Also, I just want to say, hopefully I'm not cutting out too much with because I've talked about in the past, like with MetalMouth, sometimes the audio would like skip or something with the recording. Like I thought it was only with Bandicam, but there was I think the last time I recorded alone, it was with Audacity as well. I'm going to continue with Audacity from now on, but because it happens with both Bandicam and Audacity, it puts me at a bit of a worry that it's just, it can happen at any time, and I won't know until after I'm done recording. Like I could see the wavelengths. I look over at my laptop, I can see the wavelengths, but there's times where I'm paused and times I'm not paused, or times I'm just paused for like a brief second. It's like, I don't know, you can't tell so much by just looking at the waveforms. You just gotta listen, and that's what I cannot do for right now. So if anything happens, I'll either edit it out or you'll hear a little bits and won't be too distracting, hopefully, so I apologize. But anyway, like I was gonna say, the day after the wedding, I got really sick, and I think it's from the fact that a lot of people in Israel haven't gotten the message that, hey, smoking's bad. There's a lot of people still in America that still smoke cigarettes, but there's definitely a lot of those commercials on nowadays that definitely say, hey, don't do that, pretty much. And I don't know, just everywhere we went, not one person who would vape, every single person, cigarettes. And I think I got secondhand smoking. I don't know. Like, I woke up the next morning with the worst sore throat. Like, when it's, like, really high up in that area where it's hard to breathe. It wasn't like that feeling where, like, you swallow and it feels like poison is being swallowed down your throat. It's not like that. It's just really fucking dry, no matter what you do. And I had to miss on some things the next couple of days of the trip. Like, there was a day that my dad was going to meet up with some friends of his that he hasn't seen in 20 plus years, and I would have liked to meet them. I had to miss out on that. I think my sister even had to, because she had to take care of me that first day. The day after that, my family went to Jerusalem. There's this big wall that, like, you put notes in, like, pretty much, like, good wishes, like, for example, if you have a family member that has gotten cancer, and you want to write a little note for them, to get better. It's like you put this note in a wall, and it, like, over time, the paper turns to dust, and it, like, goes up to the heavens or something. Like, personally, I don't believe in it, but it's that more putting hope in kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't really understand it too much. I'm more of just like, a factual kind of guy. But it's a historic landmark, pretty much. It's this huge wall. I think even Ethan Klein, H3H3, you remember that, if anyone that watches H3H3, that one big wall in Israel that he, like, laid on top of, not like on pretty much with his arms and legs spread next to some rabbis. If you guys remember that classic clip, that was the wall. I missed out on that. And some other places too, but I don't know. As the days went by, it got a little bit better, but like for 2 or 3 days after the wedding, I was sick, and it wasn't until, I think it wasn't until the last day that we were able to hang out there that I was feeling up to going out of the hotel room, which I'm glad about, because the last day was actually the most fun for me. We went to this place called a kibbutz, which, for those that don't know, it's this little village kind of place where when my dad was young, like 10 or 11, he moved out of his parents' place and lived in this little community with other kids and some adults there. I made a joke on Duckcast, like, of course they don't room together, that would be weird. But who knows? My dad could have been getting the nice juicy meat. You don't know. Anyway, terrible joke. So it's like this little village on top of a mountain, and it's like, it's not the most prettiest place, but it's a nice little community of people. Like, everyone knows each other there. It's very nice. There's a little playground, there's a little community center, there's just a lot of nice places. It's not, I mean, not too many buildings. I would say a little over 100, maybe. Maybe a little under 100. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? I wasn't there for that long. Anyway, I think we were there for like an hour or two. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the reason I like that the most, it was beautiful, because on the way up there, it was like what you see in the movies, like those, not exactly a spirally mountain where you're going circly up the mountain, but you're just going higher and higher, and like, you would look out the window and you would see like the bottom of the mountain, and there was no gates on the sides of the roads, which is weird for a fucking road that's on top of a mountain with a very high drop if you make the wrong turn. Thankfully, we were going very slow. My dad's a good driver. But when we got there, we met with some friends of my dad's, and then, they were the nicest people ever. There was this one woman who was like, this older woman who had a bit of a character to her. She was like that kind of woman who like had that angry look, but she was still very nice and very warm. And it's like, you want to be on her good side. You don't want to fuck with her, but she is the kind of person that if you are on her good side, she, like, example, when my dad was younger, she was the one that was like warding off the bullies, pretty much. So giving you a pretty general idea, pretty much. But she was also the nicest young woman, and not young woman. She was shorter, I guess. That's what I'm saying. I don't fucking know. There were some dogs there too. My sister was throwing pine cones, playing with them with fetch, and this one dog almost jumped right off the mountain, and not gonna lie, that shit was funny. Because every time she would just throw it a bit farther, and like the dog every time would go closer and closer to the edge, and we would just tell my sister, like, maybe you should throw it a bit shorter. Just don't kill the dog. Don't. But yeah. The flight we went from America to London and London to Israel, and the flight to London was fine. It was like an 8-hour one, which is long, but like it was still fine because I was still excited for the trip. I wasn't sick then, and the flight from London to Israel was horrible because like the last hour of it, I had to really go to the bathroom, and like the mere thought of standing up and having people just look at me was too embarrassing. I'm a very shy dude. I've talked about that before, but I'm like to the point where I don't even want to stand up because the mere thought of having people look at me while getting up to go to the I don't know, it's just a stupid thought of mine. Thankfully, the flight back to America, I was making sure, like, yo, take a piss, Zach. Take that piss. But I was like, it was to the point the last 40 minutes, 30 minutes, when the bathrooms are now shut and closed, that I was in fetal position, and I felt that feeling of wanting to burst for 40 plus minutes, and it was horrible, especially the timing of people having to unboard the flight, which, an extra 10 minutes. Great. Also, the bathrooms there it was like in the airport, like instead of like a little, a little lever, it's like this little kick thing. You just, it's like the trash cans that, you put your foot down and it opens up. It's like that. You just kick the little lever with your foot, and then it flushes. It was a weird thing. and that was only the airport bathroom in Israel. Most of the bathrooms, if not all of the bathrooms in Israel, they have buttons. You just click a little button. I feel, out of all the things in Israel, for some reason the fucking toilet bathroom buttons were the thing I wish were in Israel, in America. Like, I don't know. I'm a bit jealous about it. I don't like the levers. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit simpler with just a click of a button. Boom. Like, you press down a bit, but that's it. That's it. It felt nicer than pulling down a lever. I don't know. Sometimes you would click on a lever and there's like always that scary thought of like the lever doesn't go back up. It like stays down and like it's broken and you just broke the thing. I don't know. With a button, it's like it's I don't know. It feels like it wouldn't break as much as a lever. I don't know. Israeli bathrooms are the bomb, dude. Anyway, so other than getting sick in that first airplane flight, it was I wish I just experienced more of it and the people were nicer. But yeah. Better Call Saul. I don't want to talk about Better Call Saul just yet until I'm on Mike's his own podcast, Derailed, on Slateside Productions, which is a newer channel. I don't think the last episode 6, Mike had Slateside Productions up, so it'll be in the description. His channel. I should really write that down before I forget. Oh boy, hold on. Slateside Productions. Check it out. I haven't seen too many videos of his channel, to be honest, as of yet. But I will. That Shin comedy video is definitely on that list. Derailed maybe someday. Even with like stuff like Weisenheimer's and H3 podcasts, like I just haven't caught up a lot because I talked about one episode, like I just need to find a good pastime to do something, turn the audio off of that and just listen to an hour plus long podcast episode. I used to do that with Pokemon Planet. I keep saying I want to get back into that, but I don't know, I just don't do that nowadays, and I don't know. And I'm not going to explain what Pokemon Planet is again, just if you want to know it, look it up. It's a fun online thing. Wait a minute. Nintendo came back on the treehouse. Hold on, what are they talking about? Some guy's wearing a... Oh, it's Fire Emblem. I don't care about Fire Emblem's Warriors. I'm not a Fire Emblem... Okay, look, I've played like one Fire Emblem game. It was like when the Nintendo 3DS first came out, they had this ambassador program thing where they gave out like 20 free games and 10 of them were like Game Boy Advance games, and I forget the fuck... I even took it off of my 3DS actually just to save more space. So I forget the name of the game. But I don't know, I just didn't have fun with it. It's like, there was this one point in the game where, like, I just couldn't beat this one thing, and, like, because where my game /saved, it's like I can't go back to grind some more to get some better warriors. I forget how the mechanics worked of the game, but it was like, there was just pretty much no way for me to advance ever in the game because of where it saved me off. So, I don't know, I'm a big turn-based RPG fan, but something about Fire Emblem, I don't know, maybe someday I'll be like, alright, I'll give this one Fire Emblem game a chance. And maybe it could be like a Kingdom Hearts thing, where I fucking hated my first Kingdom Hearts game, recoded for the DS. Worst controls ever, camera controls mostly. But then Dream Drop Distance for the 3DS was fucking phenomenal. It makes me want to play the HD remakes if I ever own a PlayStation. But that's another whole other thing. And it's like, I don't know, with this Fire Emblem game, it's not turn-based, it's like that Hyrule Warriors type thing, Dynasty Warriors type thing, hack and slash. I like Hyrule Warriors fine, but I think that was mostly because of the fan service, the Legend of Zelda-esque stuff. As for Fire Emblem Wars, I don't give a shit. I'm watching some stuff now. They're playing as female Corn, I think? Or that other original character for the game? I don't know. It's like, if I want to play this kind of game, I'll just replay Hyrule Warriors. I even have the game for the 3DS as well, so it's like, I don't know. I've got double dosage of it. I don't fucking know, dude. How long are we into the episode? Alright, we're decently long. I know I said, like, after, Elijah's episode or something, like, I was gonna want to, like... I could just record with anyone and episodes from now or whatever. But it's like, I don't know, it's been some time since I've talked to you guys about like the braces and the Israeli trip. Just want to talk about that on my own. I don't know, just some things to get caught up. I'm looking at my subscription box right now. ZIFprod uploaded at the top of the month with... No, he's... Okay, I thought he was talking with Lance Stewart. He's talking about him. Let me talk about that. Like, H3H3 recently uploaded this one video about Lance Stewart, which is a YouTuber that I've wanted to do a channel review of for some time now. It's not going to be for the comeback of channel reviews, by the way, but he's definitely in mind. I fucking hate the dude. I don't know, just how he... It's like... No, I shouldn't even say. It's like obvious. Just look at his channel. It's like kind of... I haven't checked back on his channel in a while, which is why I was surprised when when Ethan brought up like some stuff about like, I don't know, the paranormal activity parody shit. I don't know. It's like, on one hand, it's kind of like a McJuggernuggets thing where he doesn't say it's a series, but I don't know. It's like with McJuggernuggets, it's like it's at least with a story. I don't think I've talked about McJuggernuggets a lot on this channel. I don't know. Personally, I respect the dude a whole lot. With Lance Stewart, I think it's like there's really no thought into it. He just kind of goes into it just kind of cuz. It's like a bit of creativity, sure, but not to the point where it's like I completely appreciate the man for trying something. I don't know. I can't say anything else other than with effort. That's why I say all the time. Like if this person has put effort into what they do or not, I can't really think of another word to ever say about it, especially on the clock or whatever. Like because of course I don't have a lot of time to film, so I'm always rushing things. I should really take a breather. I don't know. Let's go to that. I skip around a lot of topics, but I guess you should really just. Expect that as a norm, and expect the norm as with me apologizing for a bunch of things a lot anyway. I think Mike gives me shit about, not gives me shit, but just like brings up the fact that I always apologize stuff for, like, sorry for blah, blah, I don't know, just things. It's like, I don't know, I feel like that's fine. I don't know, I'm not angry about it, but I'm just like, if it's authentic enough, if I'm just saying things like a stream of consciousness kind of stuff, I think that's fine. I do admit that I should take a breather every now and then. I talk too fast and I just bounce back and forth from topics, but at the same time it's like a good and a bad thing where it's like I feel like it's still passable, and not saying passable to the point where it's like it's whatever. It's like I don't care. It's like I do care, but I still think it's good. I will still listen back to this and being like, yeah, it can still be better, but knowing me, what MetalMouth is and what it was from the beginning, it's just this whole thing of like me needing more experience to speak because I'm a quiet as hell dude. So what do I really expect from this? I don't know. It's like I should really just not expect too much, and neither should you guys. I mean, we're all just hanging out here. We're all just chilling. We're sucking each other's dicks, and we're having a good. Subtract that last part, but we're having a good time, man. We're having a good time. I gotta think of some more shit to talk about. Was I gonna say something about ZIFprod? Oh yeah, like past stuff in ZIFprod when it comes to like me being rushed, like. I think that's why I like, even with Marriages Don't Last and Wally Effect and other things that, like, I'm kind of proud of, but at the same time, I think they could be better. I think the reasons are because, like, I'm always rushing. Even though I keep saying I like taking my time. And it's like, I say that, yeah, whatever the fuck the word is. I always get a bit hypocritical with that because I'm always rushing. And it's like, it just... I wish I understood why. It's like I understand why. I don't fucking know. The stream of consciousness thing is good, though. At least I'm laying it all out, but I wish I just understood why... Damn. The real fact of the matter is I just wish I had more time to film. That's really what it is. Like, not like... 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. I'm talking about a little over an hour and a half to 2 hours at minimum, because I mean, when this whole thing is done, which by the way, channel reviews, it's not coming along very well. I keep getting writer's block, and I hope... It's like I can't have people helping me out with this because it has to be my own words with whatever the hell I'm saying about whatever. I'm still on the first review I'm doing, minus the top 10, which is what the whole comeback starts out with. But the review right after that is what I'm still on, and I keep reading back on it, like from the beginning to where I'm up to, just so I don't forget where I'm at. It's like I don't feel like I'm too far into the review. I feel like I'm a good... I feel like I'm a good 5-10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes into the review, but nothing like... I don't know, 20 minutes at the minimum. Maybe it would be a... I feel like I could make an acceptable 15-minute review. That could be a good minimum. But wanting the general review to be 20 minutes at the minimum, I think I'm stretching it out a bit with that. I think I gotta really simplify it a bit more. I still want to get as much out about the channel as much as I can, about each channel that I do, because, like, although I don't want to overstate things, because, like, there's this one point, because, like, I think I've talked about, like, I'm reviewing Pointless Blog, and, like, thing with him is, like, he kind of falls under that category of, like, those Disney Channel type channels, that's, like, you know, always, kid-friendly and happy, and, like, always happy-go-lucky about every fucking thing, and, like, always, sucks YouTube's dick to get into that next YouTube rewind. And it's like I only touch up about the Disney Channel viewer things only a bit, because I know, like, there's other channels that I want to talk about that more. So it's like things like that I don't want to overstate things, because I could save those for other reviews, but then it's like I should still keep portions of it in, so then the review itself of this one channel will still will still make a significant purpose in the long run of the review. Will people want to rewatch the review, or will people get as much out of it that they didn't before thinking about the channel? I don't know. And then at the same time, channel reviews is mostly what I would like the goal to be, is like just this perspective of someone who's not into content like this, going into it being like, what the fuck is this? And just, like, you know, the kind of content, the kind of dude who's, like, only into H3H3, Game Grumps, iDubbbz, Etiquette World Network, McJuggernuts, stuff like that, and looking at people like Pointless Blog or iJustine or whatever the hell, and being like, what the hell? You know, that's just my perspective of it. And with the occasional stuff, like, I'm thinking about doing Astrid Clover with Mike, and this one dude, Paul Davis Griffin, which I've talked about on MetalMouth Says Stuff. But, like, channels that I like as well, just to say, like, yeah, you know, some channels, like... Thing with Astrid Clover, too, I think I'll touch up about this on the review, too, but I'll mention it now. Thing with her, it's, like, much like... what's a good example? Much like Jack's films, where it's, like, the look of it looks to be, like, a cringy channel with the style of it, with the style of, like, those kind of stuff, that you would see, like, life is great. Look at these fart jokes, and it's like then the content itself and the format itself is like something completely raunchy or something completely clever and unexpected from just the look of the channels. You know what I mean? Like Jack's Films uses like DSLRs, and it's like, yeah, there's people that I look up to, that I watch on YouTube that use DSLRs, but it's like the kind of like, I don't know if it's like color correcting or like just the lighting of how he makes his shots and everything, but it looks to be like those challenge video vlogger-esque style stuff, but the content itself is like completely opposite. So I don't know if anyone gets that other than me, but I definitely see that. And Astrid Clover kind of, but she has that story element kind of. I haven't caught up on her in a while, but she has that kind of story-esque stuff, not to the point of McJuggernuggets, but like her own little thing, and it's great. It's a nice little web series she's got going on. Let me think. How long are we in? Okay, haven't gotten too long into it. They're still talking about not Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem Warriors. What did they announce? Oh, but yeah, Pokemon. They didn't, which I'm kind of fine with, but like they've announced this year at E3, like, yeah, there's a main series Pokemon game in the works for the Nintendo Switch. I I kind of understand why they saved it for the E3 presentation and not last week's Pokemon Direct presentation, because like E3 is a big thing and more viewers will watch this. But not, I don't know, when Sun and Moon was announced, it's like they at least showed little snippets, like a little trailer of like, no gameplay, but like little snippets, like little artwork and all that. They could have shown at least one little thing, like one like the main character looking graphically updated. How about that? Is that too much to ask for? Just a little thing. Show the starters graphically updated for the Switch. In with the grid behind them, you know, like they're still in the editing works. That's all I'm asking. Just one little thing, just to see how it would kind of look. I don't know, maybe for some reason they want to keep that as a surprise. I don't see what, I don't know. And then right after that, not that I'm a big Metroid fan, but they announced a main series Metroid game coming to the Switch, which the 3DS game is a great idea to hype that up, but which is stupid that they didn't put that in the presentation, but they didn't show any gameplay of that either. It's like, the Pokemon thing I can accept, maybe that's because I'm a Pokemon fan, but the Metroid thing, it's like, as someone who doesn't give a fuck about Metroid too much, but is still open-minded enough to be like, okay, if you show me something, I'll be interested. But they didn't show nothing. They showed, and the thing on the YouTube channel, it's like, what was it? It's so laughable. What was it? Just give me a second, dudes. Yeah, here, Metroid Prime 4, first look, Nintendo E3 2017. It's not a first look, it's the first look at the logo, yeah, Metroid Prime 4. Cool. That's not, you can't call that a first look. It's an announcement of a game. It's a showing of a logo. That is all you've said. What platform it's going to be on, yeah. But that's not a first look, you fucking idiots. I don't know, man. I don't know. Then after that, some new Yoshi's Woolly World game. Yay! Yay! I don't give a fuck. It looks pretty, but I don't care. I don't really care about Yoshi's Woolly World in the slightest. They announced a few other things, like a Breath of the Wild DLC thing. It's like, some things are cool, but there's, like Etika said, there's no bombs. There's not, like, weirdly enough, this was the first year that I watched other conferences. Not that I'm gonna get any of these other consoles. I'm mostly a Nintendo fanboy, but you know, I think I think it's important for me as a gamer just to at least be open-minded enough and just to give other companies a chance. See, like, instead of talking smack about them and without knowing anything, I'll at least see their conferences and be like, okay, now I at least have my own opinion that's factual. So I watched Microsoft's, Ubisoft's, and Sony's presentations. I didn't see the other threes. I heard they were terrible, by the way. But Microsoft's, I don't know. The Xbox One X, it looks cool. That, like, the power that it has, like, that they talked about, it looks like close to PC powerful. But the price, my God, $500. Could you imagine? Like, that was what people were scared about, like the Switch being, like, what before that was announced, when it was still the NX. Like, oh my God, is this thing gonna be as powerful as, like, the Xbox One X was what we were kind of all speculating the NX to be, which was kind of far-fetched, to be honest, but at the same time, it's like, we were being hopeful. But $500, my God. Even if I was an Xbox fan, I don't even think I would pay $500 for that. I mean, yo, I still live with my parents, but like, if I lived out on my own, like, yo, I gotta pay rent. Other dudes gotta pay rent too. Are you expecting them to pay $500 for a console that's not even brand spanking new? It's just like the Xbox One in that brand, but it's just with an X and a bit more powerful, and it's like 4K. It's like, that's cool. But it's like, I don't know, it's like $500 for more of that. I don't know. They showed this one game called Anthem, which to me it looks cool. I don't know about anyone else, but it looks cool to me. If I had the Xbox One X and Anthem and had friends that had the game as well, because it's like there's this online multiplayer aspect to it too, I would see it as a lot of fun to play. I don't know about you, but it looks fun to play. Not a big Assassin's Creed fan. I've only played 3. I didn't really like it too much. I heard the general consensus of that game is not a good game, so I guess that's why. But I don't know. I heard Black Flag is good, but I've never played that. But I don't know. Origins looks alright. I don't know about you. I don't know a lot of. I can't reference it to a lot of past Assassin's Creed games to know if it's really good or not. I'm sure people listening to this is like, Zach, but just looking at it just blindly, it doesn't look great. It's like, I don't know, looks alright. I think, again, I'm more of a Nintendo fanboy, so that's my own perspective of it, so I can't really have a good say about it. Sony's conference, the Spider-Man game at the end. I don't play Spider-Man games, but like that one, I don't know. It looked interesting. I don't think it would be something that I'm a diehard for, but I don't know, just like that one chase scene in the first look, it looked good. It looked tense and like hype. I don't know, it was cool. If I owned a PlayStation 4, I would get that game. It looked cool. Other games that they announced. I'm not an Uncharted fan, sorry. But I don't know, I just don't care about that. South Park, if I had a great computer. I played Stick of Truth, but it played horribly on my laptop. I played it to the end. But like some of the cutscenes, it's like I didn't experience it the way I would have liked. So I don't think I'm going to get this next South Park game. They announced an iPhone game, which I don't know. Hopefully that'll be good. If not, I'm going to take it off my iPhone immediately. But I would like to play the Fractured Butthole. I mean, I love buttholes, dude. Terrible joke. I just fucking wish. Why couldn't they put on the Switch? Come on, man. Come on. I know it's Nintendo, but I mean, Nintendo in Japan is making a game where you could. Did you not hear about this? Anyone? For those that didn't hear about this is legit. They are making a game in Japan where because of the Joy-Cons with the HD Rumble feature, they are making a game where you can feel women's breasts with the Joy-Cons. And because the Switch is region free and shit like that, you can get the game pretty much. Anyone, anywhere can get this game. If they can make a game like that, why can't we have South Park, the Fractured Butthole, on the Nintendo Switch? We keep hearing about like how Nintendo needs to keep that third party strong. It's like they have for the most part, but it would be like it would blow people away if you get something like that. I don't know, man. And Undertale recently got announced for the PlayStation 4 and no other consoles, which... What? Didn't the people behind Undertale... Weren't they, like, looking into getting Undertale on the Wii U when the Wii U was still a thing? And now that the Switch is out, they don't even give it... Like, they give it the cold shoulder? Like, what? What? I've never played Undertale. I don't care if it's not relevant anymore. I would just like to play it. I could play it on my laptop. I mean, I have a terrible laptop, but an argument to that is, like, my friend Mike has a terrible laptop, too, and he's played it, and he says it plays fine. But I don't know. I don't want to put any extra storage on my laptop. I like freeing up stuff. I don't even have too much, like, under 100 gigabytes, which I know is a lot, but it's not as much, because, like, recording these MetalMouths and Duckcasts, it's like 20, 30 plus gigabytes per episode. And sure, I delete it all at the end, but like when I still have to have it in my storage on my laptop, on my local disk to edit the videos, it's still a lot. It's still a lot. I just can't. I can't. I would have really liked it to come out on the Switch. I don't know why they didn't put it across all platforms. I don't get that. What are they showing? They're still showing Fire Emblem's Warriors. It's just a hack and slash. I mean, yeah, I've played both Hyrule Warriors games for the 3DS and Wii U, and I liked it fine. I know I'm sounding like I'm shitting on hack and slash games, but what more can you show about this? I don't even think they showed Rabbids and Mario for this long. Maybe it's because they didn't show a lot this year at E3. What else did they even show? Mario Odyssey looks... I mean, that mechanic looks pretty cool. You could take over other enemies. I don't think it's, like, truly groundbreaking. But it's still something, you know... It's a mechanic that's, like, it's new to a Mario game. It's new to a lot of Nintendo games. I don't really think... I can't think of another Nintendo game that had this. I'm probably blanking. There's probably a bunch, but... It looks pretty rad. The thing is, though, like... There's some gameplay that they showed at the Treehouse. Like, I got this from the first Odyssey trailer, and I'm sure the game will be fine. but I keep getting these Mario 3D World vibes where it doesn't feel too much as a sandbox game, just more as a 3D World vibe. I think 3D Land and 3D World, something about them desensitized me to like what a Mario sandbox game should truly be. And it's like, you know, I remember when 3D Land was announced, and we were like so fucking hyped for it, but like these games, I really do think they desensitized us a bit. It doesn't look as 64 Sunshine and Galaxy as we might have hoped. It looks a bit more 3D World to me. But because of that mechanic, the whole taking over other enemies and objects, I think that might change it up just a bit. And granted, it doesn't have those whole world 1-1 or 2-4, you know, stuff like that with the map and all that, you know, that you could just jump to other worlds. It looks like the sandbox games, which, cross fingers, we haven't seen that, but I can only hope. What the hell did they announce? This E3 was what I was really hoping for, which Smash should have been ported. I know that they've already ported a bunch of games to the Switch, but this one last port is so vital for making the Switch's first year just leaving it as a good first impression. I understand like Zelda and Mario should be the front runners, but at the same time the Switch, it's just a port. I mean, just adding maybe 1 or 2 extra characters would have been a plus, but I would be fine. Everyone would be fine with just a simple port of the Wii U version to the Switch. I know Sakurai hung up his cap, but we need it, dude. It's like saying the sky is blue. It's like I can't give any other reason other than it's like it's just important for the Switch to have. I don't know, man. I apologize if there wasn't too much of this episode. I just want to get some things, you know, just some things I want to update about and other things that are relevant. Hopefully next time I'll have someone on, or I'll be by myself. I don't know. Hopefully it won't be too much of a wait till the next episode. God damn, this E3 sucked. I don't know. I'm not a big Sony or Xbox fan, but I think they might have outdone Nintendo here. Ubisoft, I saw was good. Not too many games from there that I would have been like, it's cool, but like some games, I don't know. I think some games I would have, like, if I had the consoles for, I think I totally would have gotten them. But yeah. Fuck. Anyway, thank you all for listening. We're all just hanging out here with MetalMouth. No judgments. No judgments of how things should be done. We're all just chilling out here. There's no right or wrong way with MetalMouth says stuff. We're all Gucci. So anyway, thank you all for watching. See you all next time. Hopefully next E3 will be better, and hopefully they'll have a Smash Direct soon, or sometime this year. Just announce, if they couldn't announce it here at E3, they'll at least announce it eventually. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm still open. I'm still hopeful. Open-minded enough. I can't speak today. Open-minded enough that Smash will come to the Switch. God bless, dudes. Peace out. So just a little quick thing to add in here. Shortly after I stopped recording, you know, they announced, which wasn't really, it was kind of leaked a bit, but Superstar Saga, the original Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga from the Game Boy Advance, is getting a 3DS remake with like graphical updates for the 3DS and all that, plus an extra story mode for, it's like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions, and I don't know what to think about it. It's like Superstar Saga is like my favorite Mario game of all time, but I don't know. Is it gonna be like was it Dream Team or Paper Jam that like had those Toad side quests and like it's like would stop you from progressing in the stories? It's like if I can't get some of the mechanics of the, because the Bowser's Minions parts of the story is like it has a different battle mechanic, and it's like, well, I don't know. Most of the recent games are like have been pretty easy, but at the same time, it's like, what if it's a bit confusing to me? I don't know. What if it sets me back and like I can't progress in the game and it'll piss me off? I don't know. That's just quickly just mentioning it. They seem pretty happy talking about it, so should be good. Alright, gonna leave you. Bye.